right, I'm here today with Kai Kreuzer from the Eclipse SmallHome project, where we are here at EclipseCon 2014. Kai, can you briefly introduce yourself and tell us what Eclipse SmallHome is about?
Sure. Hi, Benjamin. Thanks for having me here. So, Eclipse SmallHome project is a fairly new project at the Eclipse Foundation, and actually proposed that last year in autumn, and became a project in November. And Smart Home is really about all these nice, cool IoT gadgets that you can buy in the shops, hook up to your Wi-Fi and use there. And it's at the same time also about classical home automation, so having your lighting being switchable remotely, having your shutters being operated by weather conditions, and all these kind of things. And the Eclipse Smart Home project really tries to bring these things together to allow overarching use cases, automation across different domains there, across different vendors, and really try to be a very open platform.
Okay, and if I'm correct, Eclipse SmallHome has been around for a while, right? It used to be called Open Hub, is that right?
Yes, the initial contribution for Eclipse Smart Home comes from the open source project Open Hub, the Open Home Automation Bus, which I actually founded more than 4 years ago already, in 2010. And this project actually started off as my private project to serve my private needs, because I built myself a house and had a lot of hardware built into that, a lot of equipment, but I was really missing then the software to really automate things to my needs. And so I started off building that, thought, okay, if I share it, it might be of interest to others as well. So I directly started it as an open source project, and that has evolved over the last years to quite a big community of many thousand users, of a couple of hundred contributors. And so that exists since a while, and we have by now at Open Hub around 60 different technologies that can be connected to each other through Open Hub. And the Eclipse Smart Home project is now really the core framework. So it's not about the so-called bindings, which are the connectors to the physical systems, but it's really about the APIs, the core services, and everything around that that we have contributed to the Eclipse Foundation to also get more industry involvement altogether, and making that as a kind of de facto standard possibly for integrating devices for smart home.
Okay, and so you mentioned that the bindings. So yesterday you had a demo during the IoT Day at EclipseCon with cool gadgets. So what would be your favorite binding? Like you had a demo with the Leap Motion, which is a great device for controlling your computer basically with your hands. The Smart Hue, the Philips Hue. But what other bindings do you actually enjoy, and what do you think is the most fun?
I think that the main benefit is really the combination of bindings. So it's really that many of these systems are really locked-in solutions for a specific vendor, and you can't really have your use cases that you might want to do realized by them. So it's really the power of combining different bindings together into a solution. So the live demo I did yesterday, it was combining Philips Hue system with N-Ocean, for example, which is an energy harvesting device. So it's really a wall switch which doesn't need any power cables, which doesn't need any batteries to be replaced. It's doing energy harvesting, so the energy by pressing on the button is enough to send out a radio telegram. And combining that with the Philips Hue system really shows you that you can use that as a replacement for your existing lighting at home. While Philips Hue itself, if you use it, you replace your light bulb at home with a new nice LED bulb, but still you can't operate it. You will, every time that you enter the room, pick your smartphone, launch an application just to turn on the light. So that's really by itself only a toy and not really usable. And only by combining it with other interesting technologies that really brings you real value.
Yeah, and defining rules as well, right? Yesterday you were demoing that within SmallHome, not only you can interface with sensors, but you can also kind of have an intelligence for whenever a given threshold is crossed, or after a given amount of time you want to perform an action on a sensor. But I think, yeah, that's really interesting to build solutions with SmallHome. So can you tell us a bit more about what you have in the pipe? What's the roadmap for SmallHome in the next few months?
Yeah, sure. So in the past weeks, we were actually eager setting up the project, so getting the code, the initial contribution through the IP process, having binary builds available by now, and so the initial contribution is through almost. So now it's really the time to do further evolution of the code to bring in new things. And what we have on the pipeline there is mainly to make the system more user-friendly for the average user, I would say. At the moment, the code is in a way that it's set up, configured all through textual files, which is pretty neat for developer types like us because it's based on DSLs using Xtext in the background. So you have very nice editor support, content completion and stuff like that. So for developers it's very convenient that way, but still the average user says, well, can't I have a nice user interface, a web interface to just configure my things? And that's one aspect we're currently working on, to define APIs there and allow nice fancy UIs then to work on top of that. That will mean some changes inside the bindings, because they will have to provide more meta information about things. And we're hence also defining a new way how to implement bindings. So these new kind of bindings will then also look at what makes sense to directly share at Eclipse SmallHome project and not keep outside at OpenHub. So we will definitely move bindings one by one then also to Eclipse.
And are there any areas where you are particularly looking for contributions from the community?
Well, contributions are in any open source project always very welcome. Particular areas is well, for OpenHub, of course, always expanding the scope of the different supported technologies. There are so many new things coming out.
New devices every week, right?
And that's really the great strength of the community. So we get about one new contribution there every week. So it wouldn't be possible for project maintainers oneself to actually keep up with that speed. So that's really the biggest contribution of the community, to have really the support of these things. A couple of our members are also now into discussion around the core architecture and especially these new concepts and how things should be implemented in the future. And there I've started a few discussions at the Eclipse forum around Eclipse SmallHome, and there's input from others, from other developers, very welcome to really get these things set up the right way and make it as simple as possible for developers to do things, but still as powerful as possible to really have then UIs and have everything generically working together automatically.
Yeah, okay. Well, I wish you the best of luck for Eclipse, for SmallHome at Eclipse. But I'm sure it's going to be all right. But OpenHub has been very successful so far. Thanks for answering my questions, Kai, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Enjoy.